Hello guys, welcome. This is Deepika from mytutorialrack.com and I'm here with another interview question related to Java. So what is the question here? Do final, finally and finalize keywords have the same function? So no, that is not true. Each of these keywords have their own functions here. We've already seen the final. Final basically can be used with a variable, it can be used with a class, as well as it can be used with a method. So a final keyword, if any restriction is required for classes, for variables, or for methods, the final keywords come in handy. Inheritance of a final class and overriding of a final method is restricted by the use of the final keyword, and this we have already seen in the previous example. And when you declare a variable as final, you cannot reinitialize it once it has already been initialized. The variable value becomes fixed after incorporating the final keyword. So this one, if you have defined it once here, this is going to give you an error. Okay, so that is the purpose of the finally. So you have crystal clear with the use of the final keyword. Now let's talk about the finally. Finally is basically used during those try catches. Okay, so you can have a try block with a catch block, or you can also have a try block with just a finally block, or you can have a try with multiple catch blocks. We have seen that in the previous tutorials. So finally, it is the block present in a program where all the codes written inside it get executed irrespective of handling of exceptions. So what it is telling you is that in case of exception occurs, or if the exception doesn't occur, the finally will always get executed. That is the block of code that will every time get executed, independent if the exception has occurred or if the exception has not occurred. Okay, so now let's go back to our Eclipse here where I have reused an example. So if you remember, we did this multiple catch example here, and we have x is equals to 0, 1000 is there, and now here we are saying I divided by x, which is going to give you the arithmetic exception. And I have added a finally block here at the end also. So no matter if the arithmetic exception occurs or doesn't occur, finally will always get executed. Okay, so here if I say run as Java application, you can see here the second block got executed and finally was called. If I go ahead and fix this, what is going to happen? This error will pop up. So if I go ahead and run as Java application again, now in this case also the finally, sorry, I've already fixed this one. So let's say we keep it before. Now here, let's go ahead and if I have, this has been fixed, and now we have this issue I less than equals to n. So this is going to give you this exception, but along with the catch block, finally will also get executed. Now run as Java application, and you can see here first block and then finally called. Now if there is no exception, means we fixed the entire code. In this case also finally will get executed no matter what. So finally is a block of code that will get executed no matter if the exception occurred or did not occur. So that is what we have is the finally. It is the block present in a program where all the codes written inside will get executed irrespective of the handling of exceptions. In this case, you can see here exception occurred, finally will always get executed. Next one we have is finalize. Now finalize is basically prior to calling the garbage collection for an object, the finalize method is called so that cleanup activity is implemented. So if you want to close any connections or anything you want to do before the garbage collection gets called, that's when you call your finalize method. So everything written inside of the finalize will get executed when your garbage collector is called. And how to call the garbage collector? This is the way to call the garbage collector, system.gc. So when this gets called, whatever is in the finalize method will be executed. Okay, so this is the difference between final, finally, and finalize. So final can be used with a variable, can be used with a class, and can also be used with a method. So final makes everything fixed. If you have defined a class as final, you cannot extend that. If you have defined a method as final, you cannot override it. If you have defined a variable as final, you cannot change the value of the variable. Finally is used along with try catches. So no matter if the exception is thrown by the code or if the exception is handled or whatever it is, finally will always get executed. It's like a piece of code that will always get executed. The third thing is the finalize. Before you run the garbage collection, or when the garbage collector is called, whatever you have written inside of the finalize will get executed. So these are the difference between using final, finally, and finalize. And this is one of the questions where interviewers love to ask, and I've seen it multiple times. So do pay close attention to this particular question. I hope this is crystal clear. I'm going to see you in the next video with another interview question. So stay tuned for that, and thank you very, very much.